Well guys, it's a special time of year again, isn't it? Easter. What are you doing this long weekend? Bet you're happy you got a few days off, aren't ya? And it is such a special time that we need to do something to celebrate this weird fucking celebration about crucifying a man. And so we did. And we managed to do it in a big way. I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate Easter and the evisceration of a man than by going to the bloody moon again. Isn't it awesome? Again, that's right, they're on their way. Their Artemis 2 has taken off and we have chosen Easter to hock a great big loogie into the face of God as we celebrate the evisceration of his son and a bunny, which is about a reasonable story as the other one attached to Easter.
And here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
So I don't know if any of you have seen the crew that they have chosen for this test mission that they say is a test mission, and these guys know it.
That's what Artemis 2 is. A crude test of the most powerful rocket ever launched with 4 people on board who will find out if it's actually ready.
Oh guys, you've got to check this out because I looked at these astronauts and I listened to a little bit about them and holy crap, are we getting a real Fantastic Four at last? But I mean, come on guys, I know you had trouble with the success of the franchise, but don't you think this is pushing it a bit? Anyway, check this out. The commander is named Reed Wiseman. He's got the name Reed. It's unbelievable. The pilot, Victor Glover. Human Torch, anyone? Mission Specialist, Jeremy Hansen. Now, he's never, ever been into space, but this guy couldn't be more perfect for the thing if he tried. And we see it all coming together. That is until we get to Mission Specialist Christina Koch. So, okay, she ain't exactly Sue Storm, but I did land on what she actually is, and that's Ripley. Which, for anyone in the know, is way better. I was a bit late to the party on this one, but I am over the moon about it. And I'm not using that pun lightly. This is the greatest thing to happen to mankind in 50 years. Well, that's wrong. This is the greatest thing to happen to mankind since the 90s, guys. And we need to keep an eye on what they're doing up there, right? Who's got a telescope? Got a lot to say about this because I love space and I love science. So this is where, you know, my worlds collide. And, you know, I am a bit of a space cadet, so yeah, like I said, I must have missed the memo on this, but that's not surprising as I've largely turned my back on the news as I find it too horrifying to my psyche. And it has requested that I dial it back a bit, and so I did. Even if you're trying not to pay attention to the news media, a lot of it does seep in peripherally and maintain a spot on your consciousness But some good news did get past the old psyche gates this week, and I am over the moon about it, as I said. I didn't know we were going back to the moon, but why would I? There's lots of space missions from many countries these days, and since NASA has decided to scale back operations and apparently not go into space quite as much, which is a unique decision for a space agency. Look, I don't care if you don't think we went there in '69. They eventually got there anyway, and if it was faked, it was only to keep Kennedy's word of getting to the moon and putting a man on it before the end of the decade. Well, there were two reasons for the importance of keeping Kennedy's word, and the first one was the Americans wouldn't want to look foolish on the world stage given the climate of the Cold War. It would have been exploited and seemingly embarrassing to them. So that was one. But the other was to maintain the legacy of the Kennedys, and that to keep the idea of Camelot alive and keep the Americans enchanted with the idea of the president and chosen few. I don't know, there's a lot of that going on last century, wasn't there? The chosen race, the chosen ones. Anyway, I digress. The best part of this is we are headed back to the moon to build a base. So we'll have a permanent base there. And in what must be an affront to God himself, or the idea of God at least. Anyone? And let me tell ya, between you, me and the gatepost, Americans don't really like it when you tell them how we see them. But anyone would be crazy to think that they wouldn't be concerned with how they are perceived. And they don't like it when you tell them how they're really perceived. Because it ain't the view they've got, believe you me. They think that we see them as Captain America, as Homelander, as Iron Man, but we don't. It's kind of... how best to put this? To give that idea the credit it deserves, honestly, America is a bit like Superman if he was on drugs and appeared on Jerry Springer. So why are we going now? Why are here, you ask? Well, I've got my own theories on that, but theories on their own aren't worth shit. Even if that theory is shared by others, it doesn't make it correct. Everyone has theories, only some people call it knowledge. Imagine that, having theoretical knowledge. But that's neither here nor there, because that's a concept that's a step beyond them. So good going, human race. You've managed to human up all of Easter, to fuck up God's rave party and proving that science is king. But we did get some days off out of it. But as I watched those majestic rockets burning their way through the atmosphere, I couldn't help but look on in awe and realise what it was like to be godlike. And his name was Science. We love science. More rockets, please. It's my pleasure to bring you this story today because, oh my god, I have so much winning going on here with the space program, going back to the moon. I want to see it all happen, and I'll know why they're there. Well, I suspect I know why they're there, and I believe that is to mine, but that's by the by, you know, that's kind of out of the way, and you don't care about it because you can't see it. We'll all be long dead before the ramifications of this come to bear. And if I'm wrong, good. I'd rather be wrong than have the moon fall out of orbit. Oh no, I'm crazy like that, right? But the human race has always been about exploiting tomorrow for today's benefit. So this tracks, right? In conclusion, I'm ThatGen-XDude. Humans are disgusting, vile wastes of breath. And the sooner we're all out of here, the better. And believe you me, that'll be happening sooner rather than later. And that's not a threat, that's just a prediction of the end of species. So I'll leave it on that happy note.